Alright guys, a big welcome to you all to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta. Yuri with D-Boy, and I'm here for you guys with more Spike Brothers reveal from the Phantom Dragon Aeon. This is part 3, so we have already revealed 5 cards from this set. This set contains 4 clans, being of course Spike Brothers, Tachikaze, Meyakolni, and Shadow Paladin. Shadow Paladin is taking 2 VRs, which means that the other clans are each have 1 VR, and then for the triple Rs, one clan will have 1 less triple R, being Meyakolni or Spike Brothers. I think it's Meyakolni, but it could also be Spike Brothers. We'll have to wait and see until about the end of the set to see which clan gets what. But for this video, Rising Nova will get revealed. 1 triple R, 1 double rare, actually 2 double rares, and then a common and a rare. So we have 5 cards to talk about. This would be a long ass video. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, like our videos, and let us know in the comment section below if you are a real Spike Brother fan or you're just in here for the other clans as well, and you also like to see spikes. That's also good. You're always welcome to watch our videos, of course. But if you don't know, sometimes we make long ass videos. Alright? This is one of them. Pause the video. Go get something to drink, something to eat. I have my water right here, because yeah, as I said, this would be a long ass video. There are a lot of cards that we need to talk about. Alright, let's jump into the video. First of all, the cards that we have covered in part 1 and part 2. So we have the new starter, which has a different art, of course, the same skill as Mega Trainer. This is kind of good, as we talked about in the other parts, because that could mean that you could play the old Mega Trainer 4 times, and you could also play this card as well, as we have 5 starters in the deck. I don't really see that happening. Draw Trigger, which is good because now we could afford to play more draws if needed, especially in the turbo deck. And then we have a Counter Charger, which also looks cute. A grade 2 who gets power by Counter Blessing 1 gets an extra 10k, and another grade 2 that could get extra 10k if you have Superior Call this turn 2 times. Which means that a lot of these cards work when they are Superior Called, and that's what led us to think that Rising with Superior Call. Maybe he is, maybe he'll not. We'll see at the middle of this video. Okay, so let's see the first card. The first card that we have is Cheer Girl, that thing. I will never say her name. Okay, so I've got a lot of reactions from some of my friends on Facebook, and they say, hey, D-Boy, don't take a lot of time off the video to talk about this card. Well, guys, I can't. I have to. There are a bunch of things to say when it comes to Adalaide. One of them is I'm so happy that the SP pack does not include the heal in it. If that would be the case, then I will get this card as a SP always, because I have all of the Spike Brother cards in every version. I have to have them, so that's the problem. When you talk about the community, the non-Spike Brother players, so players that does not play Spike Brothers, most of them are very happy with this. I think 99% are very happy with this because they see it as a joke, or they like the art, or they dislike it, but they still say it's like it's a joke, right? When it comes to Spike Brothers themselves, they're divided into 2 groups. One of them which think, oh, it's cool, we have Adalaide back, and the other, let's say, side of the group, the others just really hate the card and just don't want to see it. For me, yes, she is part of Spike Brothers. She is part of what the clan is. She, it, he, I don't know. But the problem with this card is that I've never really liked Adalaide as the heel, or as in the art, or as in the joke. There was one moment in the anime where somebody put their favorite card up there and it was an Adalaide, and I had to laugh there. But and I did play her in the Limit Break era, because in the Limit Break era you didn't want to see your heal, so I played her at 1. I think only 1 heal in my deck, and that was just for fun. But yeah, I see people very happy with this, and yeah, if you are, be my guest, enjoy. We have also her flavor text, so popular among enthusiasts, always deliver with a smile. So yeah, she's happy, it is happy, he's happy, whatever that thing is. to be there. And yeah, there are some people that it would be very popular with. We have her old art as well. I think that the new art looks better. The pose is nice, and the way she looks is kind of funny. Again, I'm not a big fan, but I think it's funny. I may play her in the deck just because it's harder for your opponent to see her as well. It's not only painful for your own eyes, but also for them. Especially if this comes as a 6 damage heal, then I think your opponent would just quit the game right there and just take their stuff and go home. I mean, should be enough, right? But yeah, we also still have Tiara. If you don't want to play Adalaide, you just hate the cards, you could just always play Tiara. As I said, I don't think that she will be in the SP pack, as the heal was only in the SP pack in the Try 3 set, and the sets after that she's not. So maybe they changed it now, because we also have Shadow Paladins. Shadow Paladins normally get a special treatment, but they also have 2 SP packs for Shadow Paladin. But yeah, I think yeah, it's good. Welcome back, Adalaide. Didn't want to see you, but yeah, I just woke up to this. So, and you don't want to see my inbox. The amount of messages, amount of people that tagged me for this card is just insanely stupid. Alright, next card we have, finally we have normal card that we could talk about. Outside Rabbits. First of all, the art. This looks really good. If you play rugby, then this is a rugby tackle. This is not an American football tackle. This is a low tackle. The shoulder is placed well. The head is on the right side. Very good. You could see it's a rabbit, so it could tackle very low. I myself, because I live in the Netherlands, most people are taller than me and also bigger, because I also play rugby, and this is the way that I also tackle my opponent. I tackle them on the knee, on the side, which means that you will always take them down. It doesn't matter how strong they are. As long as you hit them, they lose stability because you hit the one knee, and then you take out the other knee as well. And it's also a very painful tackle, and you don't really have to put too much power into it, and also your head is always safe because you choose the right side to put your head in. So that's for the art. And then we talk about the skill. So when this card is placed by your card ability, you pay the cost, which is a Soul Blast of 1, and until the end of turn this card gets extra 5k and could attack from the back row. This is pretty good, damn nice, because normally in Spike Ridders you could not multi-attack in standard Spike, except with if Siegfried with hit, which still needs to hit. But this card being a 12k attacker, but you could still move the markers with cards like Bull Spike, still very good, right? So I think that this would be one of the cards that you could add to the deck, but it doesn't really have to be as stable. If we could toolbox into our deck, then this would be amazing. But if not, I don't really see the card played very fast, except if you don't really have other great ones to the deck. Problem with these kind of cards is they don't add consistency to the deck. They make the deck inconsistent. Also, it's a 7k, so another card that could not really boost the 10ks to make them the right amount of 18k power. With the 5k power, it would be 22, so that's the same as the 18, but we are talking about the times that you do not get his skill off. So in my opinion, a very good card, has a lot of potential and could be better depending on the cards that we get from the set. This is not the first time that we have got a back row attacker or a card that could attack from the back row. We also have Full Speed Spectre, a card that needed charge and needed counterblast to be able to do that. Problem with Spectre is that, again, he needed a counterblast and something that you could not afford in Premium Spike. But I do see this card being played also in Premium Spike, because attacking from the back row should be very good, getting that extra attack and only cost a Soul Blast, and you can Superior Call it. One of the downsides to it is most cards that could call very easy need to call cards with charge ability, and of course this is from V series, so it does not have the charge ability. But going from premium back to standard, I think that the card has potential, depending on how easy you could toolbox to it from your deck, because you don't really want to have this in your hand, you want to call it from your deck most of the time. Alright, next card we have right here is a grade 3 double rare. First of all, the art is really sick. I like the background colors, which are not very hard on the eyes, but also you could see its hair. I think it's his hair. You could see the way that he is kind of flipping the ball in the air, and also the hand is very nice. I do like the art a lot. I hope this would be an SP. That would be amazing because this card deserves to be an SP, and also when you will see Rising Skill that you will understand how this card works. So it's a grade 3 with a force marker, again a double rare 13k base of course because we're playing force, and he has 2 abilities. The first one is a continuous on Vanguard. During your turn this card gets the extra 5k for each of your force markers on your circles of course. So it's a Vanguard ability, and he gained extra 5k for each force marker. That's really good. But again, then you would say, hey, why would I play that? Extra 5k is really not much, because if I write him the first time it's 5k, if I already have a marker it's another 5k. Is this a budget deck card? Well, the second ability is very close to Zyfried ability, which means on Vanguard auto, when this unit attacks, you counter +1 and you stand one of your Vanguard. We have seen this effect before, as we have seen it for Nova Grapplers, which is just on attack, counterblast, restand. The thing is with this card, again, when I first read it, I thought, we would have to have cards that combo well with this. Why would we write this when you have Zyfried, when you have Juggernaut, which still also get the extra K? Of course, you cannot multi-attack with him, but you also have Bull Spike, which also gets power. You could also not multi-attack with him, but he does way more for the deck. Why would you play Spiking Cyclone? First of all, the name is amazing though, because we also got Cyclone in premium, and now we have Spiking Cyclone. This is also very nice. But that all will be answered when we reveal the next card, which is Rising Nova. So Rising Nova, exceptional expertise Rising Nova. We have talked about this as in his art before, the way that he looks. I think this would be an amazing SP. Some people didn't like the art because they said, yo, hey, it's kind of plain, you don't really see a lot around it. The art needed more, it seems rushed from Bushiroad. I disagree. I myself love the art. I think that the way that he is presenting himself, he's already crushing somebody. The way he holds the ball, the way you see he's ready to make the next tackle or to go in there, to dive or to pass. He's just ready to do anything the deck wants to do. And as I always called him, Rising Nova is the captain of the team. He is in my eyes the captain of the team, and that's why this art also looks really good, because the focus is on him. The focus is on Rising. There are no other guys in the background. There is nothing in the background. You just see Rising crushing somebody. Okay, Rising skill. This is where things get very, very, very interesting. We knew that Rising will switch between Force 1 and Force 2. We did never, me myself, I never expected Rising to give us 2 markers at the same time. That's amazing. That's something that we kind of needed. For premium, if you talk about Vermios with Bull Spike, if you talk about him, this is just crazy. If you talk about Bad and Dragger with Good End, this is amazing. So the official wording is that the continuous ability of him, when this unit is placed by riding, and you would have to choose between Force 1 and Force 2, you get both. So you just ride this and you get Force 1 and Force 2, and you could of course put them on whatever Rygar circle you want to put them, but this is crazy, right? You just ride and you get this. Talk about potential in premium, talking about potential in standard. Already his first ability is more than enough to play him. And then they also gave him the second ability, which is out of this world. You guys could not understand how happy I am with the playstyle of this deck. The way, the skill, the art, everything about Rising Nova is something that is worth waiting for. So his second ability is Vanguard. It's an act ability, which means you could not really use it, of course, in premium that much when you place it. But that's where the first ability comes in. That's for premium. The second ability is more for standard. So what he does is you Soul Blast 1. Does not cost Counter Blast. That's even better. You Soul Blast 1 and you choose up to 2 of your grade 3 rare guards, and this card gets their ability until the end of turn. Okay, yes, take it in, drink something, and then we will talk. Okay, you got enough time to think about it, to process what this guy could do? Let me explain. You target 2 of your grade 3 rare guards, he takes their ability. Talk about standards. First of all, Bull Spike. Okay, we thought, hey, we would ride into Rising Nova and then get both markers and then go to Bull Spike. Well, why would you? He is already targeting Bull Spike and getting his ability. You could move the markers. You draw and retire. You do everything that Bull Spike does, but with Rising Nova, with getting the extra marker, with the second ability. Which, what would you want to target from standards? Do you want to target Siegfried? Well, you could. I mean, you could use Siegfried's first ability to call even more, because Rising does not cost you a counterblast, so you could do that. But you could also do it differently, right? Because we just got a Cyclone, and Cyclone could give you the multi-attacking by counterblasting without having to hit, because Siegfried still needs to hit. Remember that Rising Nova on the first turn, he's already a 23 attacker with Force 2. So crit 2, 23 attacker without his second ability. Just best riding him, you already have the Force 1 and Force 2. So Cyclone right here combos very well with Rising Nova, because remember, Cyclone on attack, you could counterblast 1 to resend one of your rare guards. But the second thing is, you also gain the power from Cyclone, which you already get an extra 10k. So that means that the Rising Nova is a 33 attacker with an extra marker. And it's understandable that Bull Spike do not have a rare guard ability. That's more than understandable, because guys, don't be greedy. This deck is already very, very strong, and it's already very combo heavy. So don't say, hey, but if Cyclone's first ability was Vanguard and rare guard, that's even better. Yeah, but that's kind of what Juggernaut does. Okay, we have more cards that we could talk about. We also have Gunwolf. You could also combo this card with Gunwolf. As long as you put grade 3s into your soul, Gunwolf will be active, and Gunwolf will be also very effective, because putting those rare guards back to your deck, those grade 3s, is not bad, because as long as you could recycle them, you could recall them, it's good. But also, your opponent's already taking a lot of damage, and Gunwolf with Force 2 is good. The only downside to Gunwolf is that you wanted to move the markers as well to make him stronger, so that your opponents would, even if they perfect guard, they would have to put more cards out there. And then if you combine him with the Rising Nova, that's crazy, right? But why would you want to use Gunwolf ability on rare guard and Vanguard? Well, you will not. So it's a card that has potential, but I do not really see it played that much. Maybe as a tech card, but not that much. And then of course we have Bad and Dragger. Remember that Bad and Dragger for second ability will not get off, because Rising only work until the end of turn. So when you ride on it next turn, he will not have the ability of Bad and Dragger to come out of the soul and retire and stuff. That would not work. But you still have the potential to gain an extra crit. So that's I could see that. Could see people saying, yo, I could also use the skill of Bad and Dragger instead of the extra attack. I just want the extra crit. Me myself, I think that he does not fit this deck very well, because usually you already have the Force 2 marker, which has the crit. So I think that Bad and Dragger is no more needed in the Rising Nova deck. But Bull Spike is. Bull Spike is definitely needed. Alright, next we talk about our grade 2. This is the first triple R that we got from the set, and it took the first spot for Spike Brothers as a triple R, which means that we will not get a triple R grade 3. But we will still get Acrobat Verdi, and the question is, if we got one more grade, let's say one more triple R, will it be a grade 1 or a grade 2? And I think that it could be Wing Killer Misery, or it could be Axe Diver as being a grade 2. I don't think it could be a grade 1, well maybe, I don't know. But yeah, we will have to wait and see. Also, I think because the double R's, as the next card is a double R and it's a grade 1, it took the spot just below the grade 3. So that would mean that we will not get a grade 2 double R, so we could get a grade 2 triple R. That's what I'm thinking. 2 more triple R's, one being grade 2, Misery or Axe Diver. I think Axe Diver, which could maybe also give us some multi-attack. And then the second card is, of course, Acrobat Virtue. But let's talk about this card. ADORBS-PALM RORNA. Nice name, amazing arts. She's very cute. The way she's holding the ball is interesting. I never seen somebody pass or hold the ball like this. Maybe she's just receiving the ball. That could be the case, I don't know. Nice colors, of course. The wings are always purple, that's cool. I think the art is really good, and I would love to see this card in SP as well. She has 2 very interesting abilities. The first one is when placed, not with a card ability, just when placed. Counterblast of 1, search your deck for up to 1 grade 3 card, call it to Vanguard, and shuffle your deck. Hell yeah! Okay, we got a consistent way to call our grade 3s for Rising Nova. So you could just call this card Counterblast 1 and get a grade 3. And then you would say, hey, but what do I do with this card? Because she's just in the way, right? Because I could also attack with a grade 3. Well, that's why she has the second ability. If you have a grade 3 in the same column as this unit get boost. That's a 10k booster right there. Next turn you could move it up if you want to. It's this is crazy. If you use this card with Juggernaut, then you have the 10k from Juggernaut's ability, you have 10k from her as a booster, and you have Juggernaut himself. That's a 33 column right there, just by counterblasting 1. And she is so cheap. You don't have to put a card from your hand to the soul. Nope. You don't have to pay anything except just 1 counterblast. And of course her ability is on place, which is understandable. If this was an act ability, that would also be good because you could use her in the next turn, especially because she's in the back row. But I think being an auto is also good because that would work in premium if you want to multi-attack with the deck, because when you call this Counterblast 1, just get something to the field, which means this could be also a card that we use with the GB8, right? Because this is a Counterblast for an extra attack. As easy as that. It doesn't really matter. This is just like a Spike Bouncer, but it could only call a grade 3. This is just really good, being in premium or in standard. And the second ability is also nice, and that's what makes this card also better than cards like Ronaldo, because Ronaldo sometimes just be in the way, but this card will never be in the way because you could always use her, move her back to call the grade 3, and then you could just boost it right there. So potential grade 3s that you want to call, as we said before, these are the 2 cards that you will play with Rising Nova. Play Rising Nova at 4, playing 3 Bull Spike, 3 Cyclone would be my first approach. But it could be different depending on what the other cards would do. As we see right now, there are very easy ways to get those grade 3s to the field. I think that it's also good to not use a lot of counterblasts at the next card also costs counterblast. So we will have to see how counterblast heavy the deck is and see how the deck will perform as in playtesting. I will print the card right away so I could playtest and also do you guys a deck profile as in my first take of the deck until we receive more cards. There will be multiple deck profiles, also some videos to show you combo videos. Alright, next card. Or next thing that you could call as well is of course Gunwolf and Phantom Dragon. This card, if you want not to play her in a Rising deck, you could also still play her in a Bull Spike deck or Siegfried deck, because she could just call you whatever you want as being a grade 3. You would not call Phantom Dragon because Phantom Dragon costs another counterblast and that's too much, but I do see people calling Gunwolf because again, Gunwolf's skill is also very good. But most of the time you will go Bull Spike or Cyclone just to target them with Rising Nova. And then we have our last card for today's review. It's a double R, a grade 1. This is our second double R with Cyclone. And this card has 2 abilities. First of all, of course, Dexter is the name. Ambush Dexter. The art is also pretty cool. Another blonde card, interesting, the same as Cyclone. The thing is with this card, it reminds me a little bit of Reckless Express, as in the pose. But yeah, amazing card. I don't really see him holding a ball. I do see him tackling somebody in the background, or maybe that's his finger. I'm not sure, but he could be a receiver. We don't know. But yeah, the card looks really good, and it has also a very important ability. This is one of the cards that makes the deck very consistent. If you want to add consistency to the deck with running cards like Commander Gary Cannon, those cards now could be replaced with these kind of cards that pretty much do a lot for the deck, right? So we have two abilities. Let's start with his first. When placed, doesn't matter with a card ability or from where, on Vanguard of course, so you could just only write it. So when you write this card, you discard one card from your hand and draw. So you just write this card and draw. That's good because especially if you have that quick shield, so you go second, you could just discard the quick shield and draw something else. If you have a lot of grade 3s in the deck, I do see people playing a lot of grade 3s, then you could just use, of course, this card ability to discard that grade 3 and draw a card. And then you have a second ability, which is another ability that makes the deck very consistent. So when this card is placed on a Vanguard, so not on Vanguard, you counterblast 1 and you put one grade 2 or greater Vanguard into your soul. You search your deck for up to 2 cards with the same grade and you call them. So that's actually another +1, right? Because what you're doing is that you place this card, you count +1, you put one of your Vanguards, grade 2 or higher, into your soul, and then you call 2 new cards. The good thing about this is that cards that are on place with a card ability will also go up. One more good thing about it is that you could target one of your grade 3s and you could call 2 grade 3s right there. And with that, you have the 2 grade 3s that you need for Rising Nova, because you only need to get the grade, right? So you could get whatever you like. The only one downside to this card is he could not target grade 1s, which understandable because otherwise he would target himself and call himself, I mean, and then you could just spam the field right there. But we have 2 grade 1s which only activate with a card ability, and I don't know how is that possible except with Ronaldo or Siegfried or Rising into Siegfried or Spike Bouncer or Gyro Slinger, or I mean the cards from the older sets. Because if we want to countercharge from our new Cheer Girl, then you can't do that with this card. And if you want to attack for the back row with the rabbit, you could also not do that with this card, because both of those cards needs to be placed with a card ability. But all in all, I think that this card adds a lot of consistency to the deck, especially because you also plus out of him. And you could call whatever grade 3 you want to run, which means that you could also run one-offs now. But I do not advise you to do that right away. With testing, choose like some cards that you want to call, so have the combo in your head. Alright, and again, the cards that you want to zoom in to use with this deck, in my opinion, are Bull Spike and Cyclone for standard, of course. Now we get to talk again about Rising Nova in premium as well. So first of all, again, his abilities. The first one is when placed, you could go Force 1 and Force 2 right away. So you have 2 markers and you could divide them the way that you want. You could put them on the same column. You could put them on whatever column you want. This card has, we talked about his potential in standard. Now let's talk about his potential in premium, especially the first ability. You remember Good End, right? Divine Hand, Good End, Dragger. The card that you pretty much used with Bad End and Bull Spike to do that crazy combo. You could write 2 grade 3s. If you don't know the combo, I will explain very fast. Good End skill set, so that's the stride. The skill set counter +1 when this unit attacks Vanguard. At the end of the battle, counter +1, you put 1 card from your hand into the soul, and then you pretty much will have to choose 2 grade 3s out of your deck. One of them you call it to an open regular circle, and the other one you have to write. or you ride the rest. Because sometimes you don't have an open reg or circle, you ride both grade 3s, which means if you have grade 3s that have force markers, you also gain 2 more force markers. And what you did is normally you had 2 Rhaegars on the field, or 5 Rhaegars on the field, then you attack with this column, attack with the other column, and then you attack with the good end, and at the end of the battle, good ends would leave, and then you have 2 grade 3s, you ride both of them, and whenever you ride on the top of bad end, he comes out of the soul, retiring the whole column, and you have a new attacker because he comes as stand. And then the 2 grade 3s that you choose, one of them being a bad end and the other one being bull spike. You ride first bad end, then bull spike, so you have 2 bad ends that move out of the soul, which means that you have 2 new attackers, and you have bull spike that could still move the markers. And you also have cards in your deck like Mega Instructor, Mega Analyzer that could give you the multi-attacking option, which means that you could even do more attacks. And with that combo, you could attack up to 7 times in the turn, or sometimes even more depending on what you call. And with that, you're already creating a huge advantage, and also attacking high attacks or high numbered attacks because you have at least 3 markers to move around. But what about if you use the skill of Rising Nova? If you use Rising Nova instead of one of the bad end draggers, then you pretty much have, instead of 1 extra attack, you have force 1 and force 2, and also 2 markers instead of 1. So normally you get 2 markers, but if you choose to get Rising, then you get 3 markers. If you choose to get 2 Risings, you could also do that, you get 4 markers. And you would say, hey, but that doesn't really give me the option to multi-attack. Well, you still get 1 more attack out of bad end dragger, but you move the markers because of bull spike, but then you have a perfect turn for Formios next turn, because he pretty much needs marker on the field, and you could place on Vanguard, Rhaegar, you could place everywhere markers, and with that you're set to go for an amazing striding turn, and you also have soul. So I think that this card has a lot of potential in premium in that particular combo, but also how about the other cards? I mean, Agrias benefits from markers because he gives you multi-attack. The GB8 definitely benefits from markers because as much markers as you have, this is crazy. If you could create, if you ride into Rising twice, then you pretty much could have 2 columns with each of them having 1 force 1 and 1 force 2. You could also use Rising once and place everything on 1 column, and then if you ride into something else, you could still get force 1 or force 2, and then from that moment, of course, you choose. But that's just crazy because you'll have 3 markers by riding twice, and you could also have 4 markers by riding twice, depending on your second ride target being a Rising or not. But if it's the second force 2 is not that effective, because normally with the GB8 you have 1 strong column that you attack with and the other column you also attack with, but that's most of the time not a very strong column. But you could still place the force 2 right there, so they could not take that attack as well because you have force 2 on both sides. That's just crazy. And of course, as we talked about this, Formulos right here is one of the cards that benefit the most from Rising, because when we got that card, myself, I always said this card will be more effective when we see Rising, because the Rising decks could soul charge more, but I never expected Rising to give us both markers. I expected him to say you choose between force 1 and force 2, even if you have chosen before force 1 or force 2, you can now switch your choice. But I didn't expect him to give us both markers, and that's just insane, because seeing how this deck works, we have seen 3 cards: Rising, the grade 2 and the grade 1, the triple R and the double rare, and all 3 cards are cards that give you pluses. Rising give you extra marker, and of course he targets also like your bull spike and whatever you like to target. But the grade 2, by counterblasting 1, she pluses to the field, and the grade 1, by putting one of your Rhaegars and counterblasting 1 to your soul, he pluses you 1 again. So all of these cards give you pluses, which means that Spike is plussing again, And this is crazy because me myself, I already have a big hand playing Spike, and with this even more. And most of these cards have potential in standard and in premium, which is really insane. Alright, that's actually kind of it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a long ass video, but yeah, again, these kind of reveals, 5 cards, we have to do a long ass video. I'm very happy with Rising. I'm actually very happy with all the cards that we have received today. Even Adalaide is okay. I think that the art looks better than the older one, and it's kind of fun to sometimes just put her in the deck and kind of enjoy your opponent's reaction while playing against it, because we have her, so why not? If she would be the SP, then definitely. The other combos, there will be a deck profile very soon and a combo video also after that, and we could show you guys even more. We have in the Netherlands 4 tournaments coming up, 2 standard and 2 premium. It's kind of the thank you from Bushra tournament, so maybe this month I will be less effective, or I will put less videos out there, but of course we will keep the spike for the reveals, and then when we know more, there will be a deck profile. So I will not do a deck profile right now. I will wait a little bit until we have a little bit more cards and we know a little bit more about the deck, and I also get the time to test the cards, and after that, on the next month, we will definitely show you guys multiple deck profiles. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for staying with me in this long ass video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more crushing the meta videos. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Until next time.